Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's exciting event-driven edition of the Coworking Values Podcast, the podcast of the European Coworking Assembly.
This episode is brought to you by Cobot, a leading management software for co-working spaces, office hubs, and flexible workspaces around the world. You know, one of the best things about Cobot is that it is produced by people who manage a co-working space and know the ins and outs of the main problems and issues bugging co-working managers. So if you want more time for your coworkers and community, check out Cobot at cobot.me and take your co-working management to the next level.
And Željko can't make it this week. He's taken up a whole course of skydiving and doing high altitude, low opening drops. So he's away this week. But there's just me, and I've got our friend Elina, who's joined the European Coworking Assembly family this year to help us deploy European Freelancers Week. So Elina, what are you known for, and what would you like to be known for? What's exciting at the moment?
Well, hello, everyone. Good to be here. I'm an event consultant. I run events for corporate associations for any groups of size and form. And specifically now in the last months, I'm focusing a lot on digital experiences at events. Also because part of my past experience was very much involved with technology or technology companies. So that period of time, the 6 or 7 months of craziness, actually helped me to realize my strongest points. And I'm very grateful for the experience I've got in the past to be able now to bridge this crisis in a better shape. And I'm also running Freelance Community, Freelance Business Community. And this is how we are associated, I guess, within the same industry.
What's that little, before we go any further, because I can't hold back, what is that little thing you're doing in Belgium in October?
Yeah, that little thing is a conference online that I'm producing for independent professionals with the goal to provide them the platform where they can exchange with each other, learn, listen to each other, create their own discussions, to see how they can transform themselves, maybe find new ideas, new projects, assignments. So all that will be happening in October during 31 day, where we will stimulate this boost of energy with freelancers in Belgium and beyond.
What do you think is, this is a huge question. What do you think is going to happen to the freelance movement, in the next few months, and why that's popping into my head? Because I was just on a call with other co-working spaces in London, and we were debating about how many people are going to become self-employed suddenly without realizing it. And just what are you picking up as you put that event together in Belgium?
Yeah, that's a good question, because if you look at any industry, there is a big transformation going on, remote working, or people getting laid off. So they have to find new ways of earning money. And I believe, and that's what we see more and more from everyone we're in contact with, is that the number of independent professionals will be growing. It's already growing. So this is one thing. From a corporate perspective, or from HR or recruiting, they're also now refocusing into going more into flexible workforce. So that brings a number of questions, such as how to handle this new type of resources, how to work with them, how to form the relationship, how to train them, how to onboard them, offboard them, and all sorts of things that comes along. So with the event in October, we not only want to focus amongst freelancers and talk about the struggles or issues we're having, but also bring that side of the sector to get them familiar with this new wave of future of work, as they call it, right? To help them to be comfortable and also start hiring more freelancers and independent professionals. I think it's just a natural thing to do. And if we start doing it now, for next year, we will be even in a stronger position to create the ecosystem, including those who are hiring freelancers.
Yeah, it's sort of halfway between devastating and really exciting at the moment. And I was maybe it sounds like you definitely had the same experience. Like when COVID hit and suddenly everyone started working from home and working remotely, I was, and I don't want to sound stupid here, but I was amazed at how many people didn't really get that you could work online. And there's people I've known for a decade, and they were calling me up to ask me how to use Zoom and if it's okay to do this. And I'm like, I've just been doing this for like a decade now.
Yeah.
Like I remember, when I first went to Argentina and had this romantic image of myself as a digital nomad working from my mother-in-law's house, and it all failed dismally, and we didn't have the tech now, and that made me I've spent a long time working with people all over Europe, and I just thought it was normal, and now people talk about this new way of working. I feel kind of where's it, I don't know.
Exactly.
Odd.
It's been, and that's what we see, and everyone is talking about that. We've been talking about that for at least a decade by now. And those who did not make an effort to transform themselves or at least adapt to this new way of working left so much behind right now. So for them, it's really a struggle to catch up. Talking, for instance, with co-working spaces, if you were not building your community digitally by now, probably you find yourself in a very, very bad situation, because you can co-work digitally, right? And you don't need to space for that. Okay, you rent your space just because it's physical, but you can also rent other services which are digital. And we've seen some co-working spaces that are, working in that direction step by step. So it's definitely touched upon anyone.
So if I was and I've absolutely seen this as people who, and even with all my Aren't I Amazingness, I found it tricky. I've been running meetups nonstop for a decade, and mentally I think, oh, it's a meetup and we have to meet here. Like we've done the Right Club in London for 5 years, where a group of people meet for 2 hours every week in a co-working space and just write. And we've been running London Bloggers Meetup for over a decade now, and that's always been physical. Mm-hmm. And we've just never, even though we can do digital events, we just never done digital events. And I found it quite hard to get my head around the fact that you can run meetups online, and I haven't done anything. So, if I'm a co-working space where I've always been very physical and in person, what are the first steps I could take to, be digital? Obviously there's like software like Cobot and Exodus and Office R&D and Zapfloor that enables some of that, and Slack groups and WhatsApp, but going beyond that little bit. And then can you say something about digital events, because that's so as I've got to know you this year, something I've been following is your madness. Sorry, not madness, but crazy passion and massive belief in how online digital events can get people connected and moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it can be looked at from different perspectives, and as a matter of fact, to run an event online is not a big deal. And actually, it's much more easier than producing a live event, to be honest. There are different forms and shapes of online events. And you don't need to go to the most difficult one, which would be absolutely immersive experience with show type broadcasting on all the social media channels and stuff like that. You don't need to do that. If the purpose is to connect people, you can do it via we hate it by now, Zoom, but there are other tools that do similar things, and they actually provide slightly more creative options inside that. And I've seen people doing actually fantastic things on these platforms. They're becoming so creative running those online events that you wouldn't feel like it's a boring webinar anymore. So when you go about it, the easiest way is to start with something simple. Think through the process of how you can get people to engage with you during this online event. So that means you're not going to run a webinar where you just, sitting and talking. That would be a bit more like getting people to discuss things or work together on something, or run a practical masterclass when you discuss an issue and then help them to solve right there during that masterclass. Or get a very experienced MC who can run this for you. Okay, that will cost a little bit more money, but that would make total sense if you want to create something out of it. Then talking about the conference, for instance, if you put together a conference, again, there will be different set of tools that you can use and different platforms that can help you to from running your session properly to powerful artificial intelligence matchmaking, when people can connect with each other depending on their interest. So you can start simply with that. When I work with organizations, corporate organizations or associations, for instance, we do the digital health check, which includes actually how the infrastructure is prepared to run the operations online. Because events is marketing, right? So if you have your marketing stack, technology stack is ready in your company already, and it functions and data flows from, let's say, from your website into marketing automation to CRM and so forth, then you're in a better position to have smarter meetings and smarter events. But that is kind of already a second stage of evolution for events. I think for co-working spaces to start with, I would just run smaller workshop types events to connect people. And I would recommend also to do it regularly, once a week, every 2 weeks, for instance. Why? Because then you create the repetition in your members' heads, and they know that they get back every, let's say, Thursday or every Friday to connect with like-minded people and learn something new or do something new. That's a very short recommendation.
That's great. The thing I'm really interested in, and this has kind of affected me, and we've changed the way we've done a lot of the group call. Like every week we run group calls, and I didn't use, or we didn't use Zoom rooms for a lot, and now we get people to things, and say even if there's only 20 people on the call, we will then break into smaller groups because it's easier to talk in a small group, and there's people, probably like people like you and me are confident on a call and can talk about it, and there's other people that just aren't comfortable speaking up in a room or on a call in front of a big group of people. So how could people make sure people get connected? Because that's the bit that's very hard to understand unless you've been doing it a long time. It's like how to get people to feel heard and connected and like present on the online event.
Yeah, it's a very good topic, and I think I hear that so often, because that's the issue that is not only related to online events, it's for any event is like that. And that is due to the fact that we are all different people. We have different characters and personalities, and some people, like you mentioned, are outspoken and they connect easily, and some others prefer just to listen, and that's totally fine. But if we want to really engage them, like you really want to talk to every single of them, then you would think of creating small events, really, because you limit like 5-10 people, and that's how you get to know them really well, and that's how they would share their opinions. Once you go more than 20, as I experienced, it's more difficult to let people express themselves unless you call them by name. We had several meetings like this when I was actually Asians typically very, very quiet. So I had to just ask them to mention or to share their opinion. They did very shortly, and then they would disappear forever. So it's really depends also on cultures and characters. But as we talk about communities, and if you're serious about supporting and developing your community, I think first and foremost, you would try to learn about them before you even go into events. So you would call to them, you would talk to them, you would ask how they're doing, then you would invite to this event, and that's how they feel more part of the community and they would be willing to share.
I really agree with that. I put so much effort into for years. I put like connecting with people before, during, and after the event, And when you have like 300 people show up to something, it's crazy. So we're doing, a lot of things we do now are making it smaller and smaller because, I find more now than ever, we got 400 people on our call. I'm exhausted just reading how many people are there. And when probably the only thing we're going to do where there's a lot of people will be our webinar about the 15-minute city in a few weeks. And that is deliberately an event that is a webinar, but everything else is, small groups connecting, because a lot of our community have been used to going to, Co-working Europe and the German Co-working Federation and Co-working Spain and Co-working Co-living. And we're missing that kind of in-person connection. Mm-hmm. So we're, getting that back online is really important. So what can you tell us about European Freelancers Week? What do you hope for that? Because this is your first year being involved in that, and you're our event Jedi. What recommendations? Because it like the main message is for co-working spaces, like we've done for the last 4 years, is for co-working spaces to run events for freelancers, and obviously that mechanism or that model is completely up in the air now. What would you be encouraging us in the direction of?
Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, we were not partners, but I think we started working with European Freelance Week 2 years ago when we launched first Freelance Business Day in Belgium. We just added our conference to the listing, and since then I was in close contact with Marco and the rest. What I would recommend, or what I would say for upcoming Freelance Week, is that I would encourage everyone to produce an event, get your community together in October, discuss what they're facing, what sort of help they need, or maybe try to talk to them up front and feature certain topics that they would like to discuss and get some experts to cover these questions. Be part of Freelance Business Month. Of course, I cannot not promote that one. It's a free conference for freelancers, and we're happy to accommodate anyone who is willing to share with us or just participate. And if you can meet physically, depending on which country you're located, I think there are some limitations in certain countries, but please do. It's only helps you and helps independent professionals also to feel that they're not alone, because that's how it looks right now. Like we're all sitting in our houses or apartments trying to earn money or make something different, but together we are stronger.
Exactly. What about because I heard you say something about if people are all in the same city and they're doing an online event, that would be different from individual co-working spaces to run an event. So if I'm in the same city as a group of co-working spaces, what do you think we could do there?
Well, for me, we're all going after the same public plus minus, and I only believe in synergy. Even if you are competition as such, you're only stronger when you're together. So I would probably recommend get together with other co-working spaces and create something together and make it nice and beautiful for everyone around it. Why not?
I think I didn't think of that until you brought it up the other day. Mm-hmm. It was a very obvious thing. So we will put links in the show notes to all the events and bits we've talked about here today. And what we'd encourage you folks to do is this is going to be airing on Tuesday. So in a few days' time, there is the first Friday call where we're encouraging. On the first Friday of every month, the European Co-working Assembly runs a big online group call. I'm scared to say that after what we've just been talking about. And in this one, we'll be encouraging people from all the different countries around Europe to come and see how they can get involved in European Freelancers Week. And ideal people to come for that if you're really involved, in the co-working industry in your country, or you run a group of freelancers. Like in the UK, there's Cotec, and there's the Freelance Heroes group, and in France there's Happy Dev, always come and support us, and in Belgium there's Smart. So we will gradually over the next 8 weeks build this community that will help all those freelancers, both new and established. And what else do you call people? Because I found this over the years of people in different countries, people don't think of themselves as freelancers. They're like independent economic agents or consultants. What kind of terminology do you use, Elina?
I actually agree. Freelancers, it has a little bit of a connotation of someone like, Uber driver or deliverer, which is totally fine. But I prefer to call them independent professionals. For marketing reasons, though, I still use freelancers because that's how people Google things, apparently. But yeah, we call it freelancers, independent professionals, self-employed. And whatever variations in Dutch and French, and we use different words here in Belgium.
I looked it up once, and freelancer, the traditional use of it going back to the Middle Ages, is warrior without a king.
Exactly.
So I kind of like that. So I've gone off topic, folks. Sorry. So we'll put links in the show notes to everything. We're including the first Friday call. So if you'd like to get involved in, you don't have to run anything. You just have to turn up and find out how to spread information around Europe to freelancers, independent economic agents, independent professionals, consultants, and all the rest. Along with what you said, Elina, is there anywhere people can particularly find you online?
Well, they can find me on LinkedIn by first name, last name. Freelancebusiness.eu is the website where you can find more information. Yeah. And all the channels, social media, Instagram, Twitter. I'm all over.
Are you on TikTok yet?
Not yet, not there.
Okay, thank you very, very much for your time today. And ladies and gentlemen, fire yourself off to coworkingassembly.eu and sign up for our weekly email newsletter when you can hit reply there and get in touch with the team and ask questions and make suggestions. And as always, we're looking for stories to write about or record with you about how you are developing co-working in your local area and how you're developing your freelance career. So anything you need to know, we're connected to everyone who's excited about co-working across Europe, and we'd love to be part of the gang. So join in, stay safe, and be careful out there. Thank you.